If you've ever hit the week before your period and suddenly your social battery was just that, you're not antisocial, you're just luteal. In today's video, we're going to talk about why this happens, how to stop feeling guilty about it, and the simple shifts you can make to actually manage this tricky time of that month without burning yourself out. Reason number one is the hormonal shift. I'm pretty sure you know these days when you're just having like amazing events coming up and you're glad about it, right? But still you feel that little kind of pressure inside of yourself because you're thinking, oh well, this is going to be a lot. I don't know how to frankly handle it. This is because your progesterone is actually rising and the drop of the estrogen. And this is the reason why you're suddenly having like a more inward focus, why you're having less tolerance for the outside world, why you're having less energy in all. The hormonal shift is actually also impacting the nervous system, meaning that you get into a rest and digest mode. Everything is kind of slower, everything is kind of more calm, more slow. You're not only having less tolerance for overstimulation, but also less tolerance for bullshit in general. Let's say you're in a situation with your boyfriend or your husband and he comes with something up. Usually you would just maybe, wipe it away, think, oh, I know how he means it. But in this phase of the cycle, actually what we feel is more irritable. We won't keep up with bullshit like this anymore. If you look at it from a, let's say, more nature-based lens, like an evolutionary type of lens, you will actually see that women tend to rest these days instead of hustling, bustling, and socializing more. It's actually a time where you can just go inward. So the thing is, you might be feeling guilty about it, but you actually don't have to. And the reason why you probably feel guilty about it is just because you learn to be on all the time. You learn to keep up to society standards, which are like being there for everyone, which are being kind, being ambitious, all of that stuff. I also do think this comes from a lack of awareness because I think we are creating this false sense of expectation towards ourselves, and actually your worth isn't measured by how much you can push, even though your body is really asking you to pause. But I think we actually don't really know the biology of our bodies. Also due to the, economical reasons and unrealized and unworked trauma, the lack of time that we're facing nowadays. We're busy and booked all the time instead of really focusing inwards, reflecting ourselves and being really honest, what's going on, what am I feeling, where are my insecurities. So all these insecurities, they're not really being worked on, and I think this is also part of why societal pressure actually adds up, because we are not confident enough, self-conscious enough to set our own boundaries. And when I say self-conscious, it's actually exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's the consciousness about oneself, because I feel like when you're conscious about yourself, you also get more confident about yourself, I think these are the reasons why we keep struggling with such things. Anyways, now let's move on to what are some practical strategies to actually manage that time of the month. So simple shifts for you to balance that time of the month with more ease and also more lighthearted, because I think the last thing I want you to feel in this time of the month is really that heavy pressure and that heavy weight on your shoulders. Number one, plan lighter social load. What does that mean? It means just saying no to certain things. It's doing the things that are actually aligning with you and not everything that the world is asking you to do. So basically, if someone is asking you to go to a festival, let's say, and you don't even want to go, just don't. I mean, in general, even when you're not luteal, but especially when you're luteal, I feel like you need to learn to say no, even though you don't need to fully isolate yourself. And I think this is when I'm coming to point number 2. Create micro boundaries. Micro boundaries to me are, for example, saying let's do a walk to that friend that is suggesting you to go on a festival or a night out. Maybe you want to see that good friend of yours. Maybe you're even having the capacity, but you're just not into, doing something where you need a lot of energy. But you would rather prefer doing something lighthearted, just like going to a painting night, or maybe not even that, maybe being somewhere where there are not a lot of people. So maybe just having your friend and going on a walk in nature or stuff like that. So I think micro boundaries are something where you can meet yourself and your friends, but without overgoing yourself, without overgoing what you need. Maybe sometimes it is the isolation, like maybe sometimes you just want quiet time and you don't even want to go on a walk with a friend. That's also completely fine. Anyway, so let's move on to number 3, because this is actually paying into what I've just said. And number 3 is energy budgeting. Treat your energy like you treat your money. If you've spent a lot of energy on some high social activity, then maybe you will go for some quiet time the next day. You probably won't overload yourself. This is also again fitting with number 1 and 2, right? Like having the lighter social load, creating micro boundaries, and just really budgeting your energy. Just having that awareness that your energy is significantly lower than on other days and other times of your cycle. I do think to actually manage these times, it's not only important to budget your energy, but also to really support your body in this phase, because your body is so sensitive and so highly alert in this phase. So it's really important to actually nurture it by taking in magnesium, by taking in enough B vitamins, by eating omega-3. My favorite go-to foods are salmon, sweet potatoes, and walnuts. And I think they're just my favorite go-to foods because they have like all these nutrients combined in one. So that's why I tend to usually make myself some poached egg with a wild-caught smoked salmon. I really like this one as breakfast, but I also love to bake some sweet potato and eat it with, some wild-caught salmon fillet, or make myself some banana bread and put the walnuts on top. Just make sure to not put them in the oven, because this way you will actually lose all the vitamins through the heat, because omega-3s are super heat sensitive. One extra strategy I'm having, number 5, is cycle syncing your workouts, because even something as valuable for your body as working out can actually deplete your energy, especially if you're doing high intensity. I personally love to go on a swim in my luteal phase, or to do some Pilates. I love to do Pilates in general, like throughout all my cycle, but I won't go for a really hard run in my luteal phase unless I can do it, but if I am noticing that I'm actually having less energy, I will also adapt my workout to it. I won't push myself, not on societal terms, but also not on proving my worth to myself, because honestly, my worth is not tied to how strong I am working out, because the workout is supposed to serve me and not to control me. So all I can say is your luteal phase is actually not your productivity killer or something like this. It's your body's built-in reminder to protect your energy. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? And the more you work with your body, the more you're unlocking your own superpowers, because you can actually use that phase for other things, like for tuning inwards, reflecting, getting to your actual feelings, and maybe even redirecting to what your dreams are looking like, Yeah, so try to use this phase as a phase to slow down. Give yourself permission to slow down instead of pushing through, and come back stronger when your energy will rise again. But until then, stay soft and true to yourself. Don't force anything upon yourself. If you want more hormone-friendly strategies like this to actually start feeling home in your body every day of the cycle, then make sure to stay on this side of YouTube. Hit the subscribe and the like button, and thank you for watching. Bye!